everybody, and welcome back to another session with me, Dr. Papori Barooah, and today we are going to handle the lesson on, in fact, something on the nasals in the English language, the only three nasals in the English language and the last of the consonants that we have been studying so far. The problem, or in fact the peculiarity with the nasals, the name signifies they are produced also through the nose there. So let's start. The word nasal signifies they are sounds produced by the nose. We have three nasals in the language there. Now what happens when the air from the lungs comes out? The air also passes into the nasal cavity, because unlike the oral sounds, here the soft palate is lowered and the air can very well pass out through the nasal cavity, even though there is a contact between the articulators. And hence, the main thing here with the nasals, they are produced with the soft palate lowered. And there are three nasals in the English language. They are m, n, and ng. M as in man, n as in no, net, nose, and ng. It always occurs at the end of the word, like in king, sing, ng sound there. Further, they are formed by completely closing the somewhere there is a complete contact inside the oral cavity or the mouth, but still the air can flow out to the nose. Like say for instance, m. Without opening my lips, I can say m. Right? So there is some air always passing out through the nose. Say nose. The contact is between the tip and blade of the tongue with the alveolar ridge. There. N. And still, without releasing the contact, I can still tell n. At least you can sing it. Or say ng, king. Without releasing the contact also, the air passes out through the nose there. If you look back, the first consonants we talked about, the plosives. So, p, b, m. So, in production, when we talk about the articulators used, they are similar. P, b, m. M is a nasal there. So, this also uses bilabals there. There are two lips there. Or say n, t, d, the t, d plosives, and here n. So what is the contact there between the articulators involved? Their tip and blade of the tongue in contact with the alveolar ridge. So obviously when we talk about k, g, that those are the plosives, k, g, the plosives, and similarly for ng, as in king, it's a velar sound, but it's a nasal. So let's show you how we can draw the articulation of m, n, and ng. So I'd also like to tell you that when we talk about the nasals, the stricture is complete closure, just like in the plosives, but it's not sudden explosion. It is complete closure and nasal release. The air is also through the nose. So now let's get about and try and show you the articulation of these three nasals. Let me now try and show you how we pronounce the nasals in the English language. There are three nasals there, m, n, and ng. These are the three nasals in the English language. I'll try to show you an easy way of drawing these nasals, the articulation. So we begin the normal way we begin. But when we talk about m, it is very similar in production to the plosives p, b. And p, b uses the two lips, and here too it uses the two lips there. So the two lips in contact, and this is the way it goes. But the difference is that we have the soft palate lowered, and hence there will be a gap there. So we have the tongue is in normal position, m. The two articulators is in contact at the upper, the two lips there, and here what's the difference that happens is here, when we talk about the nasals, all of them are voiced. The soft palate is raised, it's lowered here, not raised as in the oral sounds, and hence the air that passes through a narrow glottis, right, it passes through a narrow glottis, it goes very easily into the nasal cavity, and hence it can always pass out through the nasal cavity even though the articulators used, that is the two lips are in complete contact, and hence it produces a voiced labio, or can I say it's bilabial nasal, just like p, b, which are only difference is the oral sound here. Now when we talk about m, we have as in man, we have mouse. These are the words normally which have the m sound there. Now let us try and show you. This is for the m. Let me now show you for n. How do you pronounce n? We go normally, we draw the nose there, we draw the teeth, upper front teeth, lower front teeth, and then like this it goes there. And just like in ta, da, ta, da, this is tip and blade with the tongue in complete contact with the alveolar ridge there. So these are the two articulators involved, but the soft palate is lowered, and hence whatever follows is very easy there. And this is your small glottis there, air passes out, it very nicely passes out through the nose, producing a nasal sound, and some part of course goes into the oral cavity, and it, when the contact is released, the air goes out with explosion. But of course I just forgot to mention, here to the same thing happens, the air passes out, also passes out through the oral cavity when the contact is released. And now we come to n. What is n? N is a voiced, it is using the alveolar ridge, alveolar, only difference is that it is a nasal, voiced alveolar nasal. So some examples are like nose, no, things like that. Now let me lastly dwell on ng. Okay, let's go for ng. This is the way you write it, and then let's draw. Just remember k, g, just similar to k, g. This is how it goes. So, but we have the soft palate lowered. So what happens? The back side of the tongue is in complete contact with the soft palate, which is already lowered, and this is how it goes. So similar thing follows here. The vocal cords are very near each other. It produces a voice sound. Air goes into the nasal cavity and out of it. And when the contact between the two articulators, that is the back of the tongue and the soft palate, is released, air goes out with explosion in a way. And but of course the air is divided, so lesser than in plosives. And we have a voiced. It's using the velum. So it's a voiced velar nasal. Examples, just remember when you talk about ng, as I just mentioned, it is always in the not in the initial, always in the final position. King, sing, like that. We do not have any word in English which uses the ng in the initial position. Thank you so much for being a part of my lesson today. And with this, I complete the consonants in the English language. And next time, we'll be going on to the vowels in chapter 10.